Let me ask the question that everybody else is asking across the country. Is Nigel Farage going to be our next Prime Minister? It has been a remarkable set of results for the Reform Party, not only winning that crucial parliamentary by-election in Runcorn and Helsby, but also winning a number of councils and getting 30% of the equivalent share of the national vote, according to the projections today. With these numbers replicated at a future general election, you would be looking at a stonking Reform majority. But one of the things I've noticed today is how the elite class, the ruling class, the media class, has responded to Reform's result. We've heard endlessly about how this is just a protest, that Reform is a protest party, that Nigel Farage is leading a protest movement. But doesn't that imply that all this is just some kind of irrational backlash against the system, that Reform voters don't really know what they're voting for? But actually, they do know what they're voting for, don't they? You look at the research, you look at the polling on why people are voting for Reform. They're not just voting against the system, they're voting for control over mass immigration. They're voting for border security. They're voting for an end to the spiralling number of small boats. They're voting for an end to two-tier Britain, with our legal and judicial system being rewired against that British majority. And they're voting for a political movement that's wanting to reshape the country and its institutions, not around an elite minority in Westminster, Oxford, Cambridge and Brighton, but around that hard-working, law-abiding, forgotten majority out there in the country that is asking itself, what on earth is happening to this country? I no longer recognise the place that I once called home. I feel alarmed about the pace of change that is now swirling around me, and nobody in Westminster seems to have a plan for how they're going to deal with these major crises. I don't think this is a protest vote. I think this is an entirely rational vote from millions of people who clearly want to change the status quo that is being imposed on them from above.